good people, how you doing? David Taub here, co-creator of NextLevelGuitar.com. Hope all's going well, and I hope your guitar and musical journeys are going famously. Today, I just put together a little video, a little summary recap about my NAMM 2020 experience. So I'm going to tell you a little bit about, some of the favorite things that I saw at NAMM, a little overview of the event, the general vibe, what's happening, my likes, dislikes. I've been going to NAMM for many, many years, and I absolutely love it. It's just a celebration of all things music where you can go, you meet old friends, you make new friends, you make contacts. And you get to see, every piece of musical or something related to music gear in the world and all the new stuff coming out, people from all over the world. It's the biggest, music trade show in the world, basically, held every year in January in Anaheim, California at the Anaheim Convention Center. About 100,000 people attend the event. It's not open to the public, unfortunately, so a lot of people don't get to see it. And that's part of the nexus, the reason why I like to go and film a lot there is, besides, filming all the new stuff and getting content, it's nice to make videos and to, cover the event. And so people who don't get a chance to go at least can experience a little bit of NAMM and watch the videos and kind of see what it's all about. And this year I was so lucky having such a wonderful video host working with me. Marisa did an absolutely amazing job. She crushed it on the interviews that she did. Here's some pics of me and her, and I'll be flashing lots of pics throughout this video. And having her there is so awesome because not only does she do a great job with the interview, but she helps me keep everything organized. She helps me with the cameras, and she helps me to really make it a smooth and organized event. And she did such a great job. She crushed it, and I really appreciate having her there. So this year I did something a little different, and I stayed for all 4 days. Normally it's Thursday, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. It's a 4-day event. Normally I just go for 2 or 3, but I stayed for all 4. So I shot an incredible amount of content. I got 41 videos as of now posted of all the different booths and people and performances and stuff. So you could check those out on this channel. A few quick overall observations I noticed this year about NAMM was there was a real rise of the smaller companies that are making really powerful products. So that's really nice to see. It's not always about, the bigger companies and they, instead of booths, they get, a lot of the bigger companies have big rooms that they get on like the 2nd and 3rd floors. So it's nice to see the smaller companies really coming on strong. The other thing was a continued prevalence of the aesthetic quality on everything. Not just does everything have to sound good, but also it has to look good in today's market, right? So a lot of that was happening, not just with, the actual guitar, but also on, effect pedals or on whatever, on the actual aesthetics of a device or the way that it's built. Time is going into that now like never before. The competition is so fierce, right? That, again, it just has to sound good, it has to look good, and everyone has to be on point on their A game with what they're bringing to market. The other thing which was interesting is in some areas there was such a proliferation of certain things, like for instance, like boutique guitar pedals. Guitar pedals in general, there was just so many companies in the boutique pedal and in the pedal market. I mean, it's great to see. It's hard to fathom how all of these companies can all share in the market share. There's just so many of them now, but it's great to see everyone putting out different products and trying to do different things and using technology in different ways to try to come up with some creative thing that's new and that will bring value to players and musicians. I'm always so grateful not just to be able to go to NAMM, but always the people that I meet there. Everybody is, to me, and I've always found everybody just so nice and just humble, and even like the rock stars that are there, and you run into them and you talk, and it's like everybody I always meet or run into is always just so nice and humble and so gracious with their time. Another thing kind of overall I noticed about the show, and especially with some of the larger companies, is I think a lot of the companies are starting to get it now. I kind of felt like they have been listening to their customers more. They've been listening to the players more that are using their products, and they're using that information in order to spin out, better products or more user-friendly products, or they're kind of getting back to the things that are most important, right? The customers, you know what I mean? It's all driven, of course, the most important thing is sales, right? But that customer satisfaction. So especially because now the market is so competitive. So I saw a lot of products that really a lot of attention was paid to detail, to customer input that went into them, and really listening to the people that are using their products. So that's great to see. And I think a good example of that would be like the Gibson booth, for instance. Gibson went huge this year. And Gibson, as everyone knows, has been plagued with issues for many years now. They declared bankruptcy not too long ago. They got a new CEO. But I think they're starting to turn it around as far as that goes and get back to, what's important, back to, guitars, right? Now, Gibson, they have a lot of other companies under the Gibson umbrella. And in past NAMMs, they even, their guitar was just a small part of their booth, and they had all these other brands they were displaying. And then one year they didn't even go to NAMM. And this is, one of the biggest, manufacturers of guitars in the world. And historically, just, Gibson guitars, right? So obviously they need to have presence there. But I think they kind of lost their way for a little bit. They put out that horrible Play Authentic video not too long ago, which was just the total wrong message to send out. And I think if you haven't watched that video, they took it down. I think they realized after they put it up, this was probably not a good idea. I think because everybody was saying, dude, this is bad. You could probably still watch it if you just find it somewhere. But they actually took it down. And actually the CEO, they got a new CEO. The CEO went on a press release and took the blame for that and apologized for it, which I thought was good. You're the CEO, you're the guy in charge, the buck stops with you, and you got to be there. You got to be there and say, yeah, that's right. I did that. I shouldn't have done it. Admit the mistake. We learn from it and move on. And that's what happened. As opposed to the last CEO, one of the things that I thought was really strange was when Gibson's sales were really just continually going down, he tried to blame his retailers and say it was the retailers' fault for part of this issue, which you never want to do. It's not the retailers' fault. Come on. You can't do that. You have to assume the big brunt of that. You're the CEO. You're the captain. You're the guy in charge, right? Anyway, so the big thing about the Gibson booth, first of all, it was huge, was an incredible show. They brought so many guitars. I'll flash some pictures. I have a whole booth tour. You can watch that. But just rows and rows and rows of guitars. And, they got a big movement back to quality control, because that has been the big thorn in their side. Everybody kind of complains about is the fit and finish. The quality's just not there. So Gibson hired the quality control guy who used to work for Tesla, right? So he's working for Gibson now, and they're really trying to get back to that level of outstanding fit and finish and great quality control. And their booth was amazing. They had huge TV screens, big stage. They had sections for their other brands, of guitar brands like Kramer and Steinberg, right? And just walls of guitars and rows of guitars. And they seem to get back to that understanding that guitar players don't want gimmicks. We don't want robot guitar tuners. Make a good quality guitar at a fair price and make it so it's quality. That's what people want, in my opinion, right? And I think Gibson is getting that. And I think the CEO is reacting to that. So, good for them. And but their booth was super fun. Another thing I noticed with a lot of the amp manufacturers is there does seem to be a proliferation going on, making the lunchbox size amps, and also like desktop amps that you can put on the top of your desk or in your bedroom. And these amps are small and powerful and sound really good, and you could do a lot with them. A lot of them have Bluetooth and built-in effects, and but the lunchbox amps are really coming on strong now, and companies like Rev are producing the G20, and Fortin has a new one coming out, and PRS had the MT15 at the last year's NAMM. They debuted that. So a lot of companies are doing this. Even like Bad Cat had a desktop amp that they were promoting. So it's very interesting seeing this. I mean, that the movement toward lower wattage amps has started many years ago. Everything has gotten away from the 100 watt and the 50 watt, and they started getting more into 30 watts and 20 watt amps, single watt amps, right? So that move has been happening for many, many years, and now it seems like as the technology is getting better and better, like the amps are getting smaller, They're easier to carry around. They're packed with more features, and they sound really, really good. And it's great to see all these tube amps that are coming out in different size packages. Another thing that you have to look at NAMM a lot is the technology, right? The technology is getting so good across so many areas of music, recording, guitar, gear, that it's amazing. We live in an incredible time. And whether you embrace that technology or not, it's there and it's not going anywhere, right? Like, for instance, like guitar modeling and the modeling amps. There was just a lot more technology coming to the forefront. Amps in pedal size format, and the modeling amps. And in the past, the big companies of this, like Fractal, right, that put out the Axe Effects, and Kemper, right? Those were the big two for a while. And then you had Line 6 joining in with the Helix and Headrush right now. And now there's other companies that are making these all-in-one modelers, or where they're putting, hundreds of amps basically in a box. And they're making these incredibly convenient, putting them in floor stomp units like Kemper did and Axe Effects did. And Axe Effects Fractal has a new one coming out, the FM3. And that was a big thing at the show too, that you could actually hear it. Larry Mitchell, a friend of mine actually, who's done lessons here at Next Level Guitar, really nice guy. He played at the Eventide booth, and he played through the FM3, and it sounded really good. Check out my video about that. But that was a big buzz that you actually got to hear it, because that product hasn't hit the market yet, but it's coming. So now there's some new companies on the market that have incredibly powerful units coming out, like the Neural DSP has the Quad Cortex coming out. So that was a big buzz at NAMM, and we checked that out. And these units are making things so convenient for guitar players, and it's impossible to ignore, because so many of our players that we love and our guitar heroes are using them, especially live, because of the convenience. Everybody, you can't deny the convenience of them. You get you can fit it in a backpack, take it on a plane. You could take these units and you get the same consistent sound night after night after night. You don't have to haul around, heavy amplifiers and speaker cabinets, right? So the convenience is a big plus. Whether it's for you or not, as far as tone and sound wise, you make your own decision. And Neural DSP's product is saying, the Quad Cortex, they're saying it's going to be the most powerful modeler yet, and they're taking pre-orders for that, and that's coming out soon. But they had some there that you could try out. Again, sounded pretty good, right? And then another buzz at NAMM was Blue Guitar. Thomas Blue, he actually is coming out with what he calls Amp X, another floor unit, amp everything in a box basically. But the difference is he's trying to make his, and he's saying he could do it analog. So you're talking about the first ever analog / digital modeler, and he says that he could do it with analog circuitry. Now, he had a prototype there. It's not ready yet. You couldn't even hear what it sounds like, but he said, within a year he's going to have this. So everybody is really excited about this product, because you're talking about now analog circuitry, where you could have 200 analog, based off analog amps, but be able to manipulate them and save and download stuff and have all the effects and everything analog with that digital technology in one box. It's a pretty high claim to get that done, and there's a lot of skepticism, because analog historically is not, you don't have that kind of flexibility with it, like you're able to digitally manipulate things. So a lot of people are skeptical that it's really going to work, but Thomas says he could do it. Super nice guy. I have a video interviewing him. You could watch that and get all the details. But it's super interesting.
Hi again, Marisa here from Next Level Guitar. Would you like a killer free practice tool? Well, we can help with that. Just click on the link below and we will send you 6 killer jam tracks and 2 coinciding ebooks. All for free, all from nextlevelguitar.com. Just click on the link below.
And I was talking about the smaller companies and how it's really cool to see these companies, putting out powerful products and really making a go of it. And there was a lot of technology with even smaller companies and companies trying different things. Like, for instance, GameChanger Audio had some really interesting pedals that they're coming out with. One of them is they use a xenon tube. They call it a plasma drive. It's their take on fuzz and overdrive and distortion, but they're doing it in a very different way using a xenon tube. all right? And you could actually see the electrical waves in the pedal, and it's producing very unique, different sounds that you can manipulate and get in different ways. So it was really interesting to hear that and to see Theodore explain it to me when I interviewed him from Game Changer Audio. And they also are coming out with a reverb pedal called the Lightbox, which is interesting too because it's the first optical reverb ever. So it's their take on classic spring reverb. So it has the spring in the box, like the reverb tank in their effect pedal, but they're shooting light through the spring with these optical lights and then sensors detecting the movement of the spring and sending the signal. And this is allowing them variances that you don't get with a regular spring reverb tank, so you're able to get different sounds. So I just find that incredibly interesting that even though, let's say, maybe you don't like the sound of the plasma pedals, but you gotta hand it to them for trying something different because that might lead to something else, which might lead to something else. And this is how different innovation happens. So it's really interesting to see, and especially a guy like Theodore, because he's like a young college student designing these things or coming up with these ideas with his team. And it's really cool to see that innovation, right? Things that are very, very different takes on the way things are. And I'm not saying the classic ways aren't great, because who doesn't like a great sounding classic spring reverb tank, right? But it's nice to see different takes on it and different things that might spring up from there and take it to another place. There's also a lot of really modern guitars, 7 and 8 string, multi-scale, fan frets, which seems to be growing every year. Really modern take on classic type designs, and many companies are producing beautiful instruments with this, but that section or that niche of the guitar market seems to be getting bigger and bigger. And always there was the guitar and boutique guitar builders making the classic style, right, instruments and classic sounding instruments, which we all, of course, love or grew up on, and that are always going to be popular. But there's just more and more companies, getting into that market. So it's interesting, again, like the pedals, that there's so many boutique guitar builders and that they can all seem to have some slice of the market share. Now obviously some guitar companies don't make it, and pick up any old magazine like from the 80s or 90s and look through it, and you'll see lots of guitar and pedal companies advertising there who are no longer in business. So people join in, they drop out as time goes on. It's just nice to see all the different choices out there. It's just overwhelming. The other thing that seemed interesting to me is that this year at NAMM, I saw a lot of sold signs on everything. Now, generally, that means the selling of the demo product, the product that they brought there, the guitars or whatnot. Generally, it's not a place where you go to buy things necessarily. Most of it, you have your retailers going there to put in their orders for the year. But, a lot of these companies, they will sell the demo product. This way they don't have to ship it back, right? But so if you buy something, then, you can't pick it up till after the show. So a lot of them come back Sunday at 4 o'clock before the show closes, and then you can get it. But there just seem to be so many more sold signs on everything this year than previous years. And the prices just seem to keep going up and up, like a lot of the prices. And it's true that there's lots of price points at NAMM throughout the spectrum, from budget priced items to intermediate priced to crazy priced. It just seemed that there's a lot more and more crazy price stuff, and it's beautiful and it's works of art for sure. It just seems out of the reach monetarily from most of us, right? But it's nice to look at. But again, it just seems wild that so many of those higher and higher and higher priced guitars, there's enough market share to keep all that going. And speaking of guitar artwork, they have the Boutique Guitar Showcase there every year, and that's a place where it's kind of a sectioned off area at NAMM where they have special builders that bring in maybe 3 or 4 or 6 of their guitars that they built specially for NAMM, but they're just incredible works of art, and these are builders from all over the world. And I interview a few of them each year, and put the footage up just to see what they're coming up with, like where they're taking things, and it's just absolutely unbelievable, the detail and the amount of artwork you're talking about. They make a lot of these boutique builders make a very small number of guitars per year, because they take so long. Amazing inlay, fretwork, beautiful woodwork on the acoustic, and the actual techniques that they use, and the materials. Piece of wood that's, thousands of years old that they found, or, they're incorporating different things into their guitars and trying different stuff, and they're really on the cutting edge. And some may say some of that stuff was over the top, and true, but again, it's kind of interesting to look at, and it's interesting to see, what what commissions they're building. People are commission them to build guitars and to see what's coming out. But just, some of my favorites, like I like Omer from OD Guitars. He makes some incredible guitars based off of the natural geometric, and I really like what he's doing with the woods and the way he incorporates the geometrics into the guitar. I like some of the other colors that and inlay work that some of the other builders are doing. I don't think I'd ever get an inlay that, ornate on my guitars, but again, I like to look at it and I can appreciate the artisanship and the craftsmanship and the detail work that goes into building these instruments. But the glorious works of art, the guitar has become basically a canvas, right? And every area of the canvas or guitar is being adorned now. You see incredible design work going on the pick guards, and the changing of the knobs to the most beautiful type, knobs, and the metal work that's used, and the bindings, and just every piece of the guitar now has now become a canvas for artwork. And it's really amazing and awesome to see such guitar works of art and such time and innovation put in on the aesthetic, right? It's quite awesome. Another interesting, innovative product I thought, I don't know if it's going to take in the marketplace, but I thought it was real interesting, was Relish Guitars are making guitars with swappable pickups, but they made that process of swapping pickups in and out very, very easy. You don't, no soldering or no taping wires together or anything. They have connection points and magnets they use. So basically, on some of their guitars, the guitar back comes right off. It's held on by magnets, and the pickup, you just pop it out, and then you pop it in, and where you pop it in, it has the connection points. And it makes it so easy to go from single coil, blip, blip, to humbucker, blip, blip, to, whatever, PAF, to blah, 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 to whatever pickup you want. And they even take, you could send them pickups, and they can mount them if you have pickups you really like, and then they can become interchangeable. So they've made that process of, because that's not a new idea. Companies have tried that before, like in the 80s and 90s, and it never seemed to take. But even that swapping out process, I think they've streamlined it and just made it super simple. So it'll be really interesting to follow them to see if that's something in the market that's going to take hold. But the technology and the way that they built it into the guitars and making it so simple is really innovative. Some of the really interesting people I loved meeting and talking to, I got to interview Mike Soldano again from Soldano Amplification, legendary amp builder. And Mike is just such a nice guy, so gracious with his time. And he's keeping his brand going by teaming up with boutique amp distribution. So they're handling like all the day-to-day stuff in the business end, and he's concentrating on just designing products and getting back to what he loves to do, the creation and the design of things. So, he's upgraded his, that epic legendary amp, the SLO 100, made some changes to it to make it even better. That's coming out, as well as, a lot of people always love the idea of the SLO 100, but that's a lot of amp, 100 watts. They always dreamed of having a smaller wattage SLO amp, but with all that SLO 100 mojo. So now he's coming out with the SLO 30 watt version of it, the exact same amp. So people are really excited about that, as well as Mike is going to be coming out with some pedals and some other innovative products. So it was great to talk to him, great to see his brand still going. Such a nice guy. What happens at NAMM a lot too is you just kind of run into people, right? Because there's so many people. Boom! I turned the corner. Who did I run into? Frank Gambale. Just an absolutely incredibly innovative guitar player. Frank was he's kind of the guy who kind of started the whole sweep picking thing that he came up with, right? He's just crazy good. Super nice guy. In fact, when I was, really studying hard along my guitar journey, I watched many years ago one of his tapes learning the modes really helped me. And I said that, modes no more mystery, I think it was called. And I talked to him about that and how much it helped. And he has actually a guitar school now that he's kind of working on. But you just run into people like that, right? I ran into Al Joseph, who is, I really enjoy his playing. He's a progressive hard rock guitar player, and super nice guy. I just met him. He was walking around. I just started talking to him. I ended up going. He had a demo he did at the Headrush booth because he's playing through Headrush now. And we went and I filmed him playing and then did an interview with him. You could watch that if you like. But such a nice guy. And it is interesting to hear his take on a lot of the things like the modeling equipment he's using now versus tube amps and that whole thing. But it was a pleasure meeting and talking with him. Such a nice guy. I spent a lot of time in the Paul Reed Smith booth. I've been playing Paul Reed Smith guitars, since the 90s when I bought my first one. And I have a relationship with them. They're just so nice and they're so generous with their time. I interviewed Paul Miles, who's the director of Private Stock. Just incredible work to see what's, it's like their custom shop, what's coming out of there. You could watch those interviews, their booth tour. They're just producing some amazing sounding and looking guitars. And they're continually pushing the envelope and putting out different products at different price points. And their fit and finish and their quality control, it's just, they're on point. Their fit and finish is just incredible. So it was great to do the booth tour and check out all their stuff and talk to Brian Ewald. He demoed some products for us, and you could watch some of those videos. Always fun at the Paul Reed Smith booth. I got a chance to meet Natalie from Sweetwater, who's, absolutely super cool. And, I worked with Sweetwater on their world's largest pedal board, and we gave away a lot of those pedals. They sent me one of the boards. That was a lot of fun. So we got to talk a bit and find out what's going on at Sweetwater and what they have coming up. And always fun to meet these people that you talk to in email, but when you get together in person, it's so nice to put the the face with the voice or the face with the email, right? My buddy E. Pruitt from Bartolini, good friend of mine. Always nice spending time with him, seeing what's going on at the Bartolini pickup booth, and talk to them about their products. Interesting, I ran into a lot of local musicians. I'm from the San Diego, Southern California, and met a lot of friends there who are in the local scene. My friend Vic, Mean Guitar Licks, did an interview with him. Yolanda Johnston, a local singer. So it's always great running into people. I even ran into the drummer in my original band, Mind Cell, Justin Bogue. Always great spending time with him. Incredible drummer. In fact, I dropped my new record with my original band, Mind Cell. We dropped the record fall of last year. It's only been out, 4 months. Check it out. It's streaming on all the major platforms, or you can buy the CD or download the digital album. I'll put links in the YouTube description box, but check it out. The record is absolute. I think it's some of the best songs I've ever written. It's in the progressive hard rock genre. I think it's a slamming record. I'd love your feedback on it. So if you get a chance, take a listen to it. Let me know what you think, or if you have questions on the studio production or on the gear or anything, let me know. Also ran into my good friend Jason Lee Flock. He used to do videos for us here at Next Level Guitar. He is working for Kiesel now, and always good time going to the Kiesel booth. They make some amazing guitars. And seeing how they're pushing the envelope a bit with their instruments, and it's always good hanging out with Jason. He even told me he wants to come in to the Next Level Guitar studio soon and do some more video lessons, so that'd be freaking awesome. Get Jason back in here. So some of the other people that I happened to bump into, I was doing something on my camera, not paying much attention. I get a tap on the shoulder. It's Justin from Justin Guitar. I had never met him before, so it was really nice to meet him. Super nice guy. We chatted a bit. Him and I were of the first to put video guitar lessons online and build online curriculums. This was even before YouTube was big. Way back, we started in 2005. So it was great to finally meet him and chat with him a bit. Again, super nice guy. Another YouTuber I never met before was the Tone King, Lewis from New Jersey. Really nice guy. I was just walking through the aisles and I saw him and we talked, and he does a lot of gear reviews and whatnot. And I've been watching his videos. He's been doing it for many years now too. It was great to finally meet him, and we talked about maybe even we're going to do a collaboration on something together. So that would be so much fun and awesome. So stay tuned for that. NAMM also, all during the 4 days, there's all kinds of stages set up where people are playing, and they have big concerts at night. And Animals as Leaders played, I think it was Thursday night. They did a full concert. So that was a great show. It was great to see them play live. Tosin Abasi, just a monster guitar player. He is just out of his mind good, and so good to see him on stage. He playing the most complex things, and he makes it look so easy. And that band is just crazy talented. So great show. I did capture some of the show on video. You could watch that. Check out my video, Animals as Leaders, playing at NAMM. But it's really cool that NAMM has and a lot of the stuff they have going on as far as concerts and stuff, they mix it up, different genres of music. So they try to provide a little something for everyone. I got to meet this year Laura Cheadle, singer songwriter, and hanging with Laura was a lot of fun. And we saw her film some of her playing at her showcase at the that was the Traveler guitar booth, the outside stage. So always nice meeting new people and making new friends and seeing these amazing musicians do their thing. So overall, an amazing show. Some of the things that I wasn't that happy about, and again, I might be being a little bit picayune, but some of the areas, the noise is always a big complaint at the NAMM show, because obviously everybody's trying products and it's so much noise going on, and the people that run the show, they try to do a good job and go around with decibel meters, and but it's very hard to contain. But it just seemed like some areas of the floor were way noisier than others, like in the guitar area in that back corner in Hall D. I guess from the noise just hitting there, it just was so bad. I think they could do something with some insulation or maybe some acoustic panels to kind of suck up some of those frequencies. So it was really, really bad there. And that's where a lot of the guitar stuff was, in that one area. So it was kind of hard to really enjoy that whole area. But it is what it is. Another thing I'd like to see is maybe more healthy food options. Again, kind of picky, and I like to eat healthy, and most of the stuff is kind of fast food. They did have some food trucks out front, and I did find something, but it just seemed like there just wasn't enough of good things to eat, and whatnot. So maybe some more healthy options would be nice to add in. Maybe also some more booths where there's coffee available. There's only a few of those around at spots, so the lines are really long. The other thing that's always tough at NAMM, and it's really hard, not that anything can be do about it, like with any area where there's tons and tons of people, is the germ factor, right? Everyone calls it getting namthrax. A lot of times when you leave now, you end up getting a cold, getting the flu, the namthrax flu, because obviously you're shaking hands with everyone, and everybody's touching everything, and because it's so noisy, you have to talk close to everybody, and you're interviewing people, and everyone's breathing on everyone, and there's so many people, so it's just a hotbed for germs. So that's like something that most people always say about NAMM, is getting that namthrax. But I don't know what you could do about it. You certainly don't want to have everyone walking around wearing masks, right? It is what it is in an area where you have a confined area with so many people. I wanted to make it to the Fender room because they had a lot of new products I wanted to check out, but unfortunately, when I went there, they were closed. NAMM, for the most part, opens at 10 a.m., but some of the rooms in the upper floors, especially, they may not open their room till noon, and make the first 2 hours just for retailers to come in that want to make orders or to have meetings or something like that. So I didn't know Fender was doing that. So when I went there, I guess it was about 11, I couldn't get in. They were closed. And then unfortunately, I never made it back. So I didn't get to see the Fender booth. So that was kind of a bummer. I understand why they do that, because certainly, again, the bottom line is sales, and they need time for meetings and to meet with their customers. But why can't you open, if you want to do that, then keep the booth closed from 8 in the morning till 10, right? And then this way at 10 o'clock, it's open to the public. Something to think about. And as I'm walking around the show floor and meeting with all of the manufacturers and talking instruments and doing all the interviews and stuff, I get recognized. Players come up to me and they say that they saw my videos and how much that my teaching has helped them along in their playing. And it just makes me feel so good when that happens, that that I have touched their guitar playing in a positive way, and that they've been watching my videos and it has helped them along in their journey. And I so appreciate that, and I'm so blessed that I get to do this full time, right? Teach guitar and play music, and bring the joy of guitar to others. So it's so nice when someone comes up to me and tells me a story about how my playing or how my teaching has affected them in a positive way. And it's just so awesome. And I want to thank everyone for that from the bottom of my heart, because that means the world to me. And I've been doing this a long time, since 2005, right? I've been putting videos online, building curriculums and courses since 2015 years now. And I'm so blessed to have the opportunity to do this. And so that's awesome. I so appreciate it. And I don't take one day for granted. And I just, kind of just keep trying to put out the best possible content and the best possible lessons, and to help the most people along in their guitar journey. So another amazing NAMM. I captured more footage this year than ever before. I hope you watch some of the videos. I'll put some of the links below, but just look on the channel. I have like over 40 videos up for NAMM 2020. Check them out. Let me know what you think. I hope you enjoy it. My NAMM experience, another awesome one. I can't wait for next year, and I'm going to continue to film and to bring NAMM, a little pieces of it anyway, to the people that unfortunately did not get a chance to go. I got lots more content coming. I got lots of killer lessons and more content on the way. Stay tuned. Subscribe to the channel. Really appreciate you subscribing. That helps us to keep the content coming, as well as you'll be notified when we have more videos posted. Leave a comment below. Let us know what you'd like to see, what lessons you'd like to see, what content, how you like this video, other videos. Leave a comment below. And if you like the video, click the like button. Give it a thumbs up, share it, and thank you so much for your support. And don't forget, click the link below. I'll send you my jam track coach, 6 killer jam tracks, all with written lessons. It's a great practice tool. You'll really like it. Ebook with scale diagrams. I diagram everything out. It's killer. Click the link. I'll send it to you for free. Thank you so much for tuning in. I look forward to this year, 2020. So much, tons of content I'm going to be bringing, and lessons and all kinds of fun stuff. Stay tuned. Keep putting those guitars in your hands every day, right? Keep having fun with them, and remember, your guitar playing is an evolution. Rock on.